Namaste. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Stuti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Krishnakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Samadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Padabhaho Sahasranamnam Stavanam Prashastam Nirujyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste once again, all of you.
Namaste, Guruji.
So we completed the meaning of Pavitra.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, namaste.
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 Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram. So as I was saying, we completed the learning the meaning of simple, what appears to be a very simple sloka. Pavitranam pavitram yo mangalanam cha mangalam daivadam devadanam cha bhutanam yo avyah. But probably we have taken 5 or 6 classes, or if not more, if not less, to see the meaning of what this means. The whole idea is Adi Shankara in his approach wants to bring more and more Ishvara into our life, more and more bhakti in our life for that Ishvara. So that is why he actually goes, into this kind of explanations, explaining what exactly and giving quotations from various sources and all that. Okay. So having completed that sloka, the next 2 slokas are very simple slokas. Adi Shankara doesn't go too much into details. In fact, he just in one sloka, he quotes only one source rather. And the meaning is also very simple. And these 2 slokas happen to be the last 2 slokas in the Purva Bhaga of Vishnu Sahasranamam. After these slokas starts the Nyasa portion. The Nyasa portion is not a part of Mahabharata. Okay. And that is why Adi Shankara has also not commented on the Nyasa portion. Those slokas and the little detailed Nyasa which follows. Asya Sri Vishnu Sahasranam Stotra Mahamantrasya. The Nyasa starts with that, right? But we will see the meanings. I will explain the simple meaning of that, what that Nyasa stotras do. Because in any puja, in any upasana, this Nyasa is a must because it follows the Dhyana sloka. So you have to first visualize the deity to whom you are doing the upasana and all that. So that is a procedure as per the scriptures rather. So that is included in all Vishnu Sahasranama text also. So we will see that also. Before we go to Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro, that Vishwam word, what does it mean? There are also very involved explanation Adi Shankara gives for word Vishnu. Okay. So now the next 2 slokas, they should be read together, in the sense that taken together. We will read it separately and then see the meanings. But the first sloka, in terms of a sentence, grammatically is incomplete. The second sloka completes that sentence. So that is something which I just wanted to let you know at the beginning. So the two slokas make a complete sentence. Okay. So I will read this sloka. First one. Yata sarvani bhutani bhavantyadi yugagame yasmimscha pralayam yanti punareva yugakshaye. So the simple meaning of this sloka is yataha means from whom. For Sanskrit students, fifth case, Panchami Vibhakti, yataha. From whom sarvani bhutani, all these beings, bhavanti yuga adigame, they are born at the beginning of the cycle of creation. So from whom all these beings in this entire cosmos are born at the beginning of the creation. Yasmimscha pralayam yanti, unto whom all these beings go and resolve at the end of the creation. Punareva yugakshaya means they again go back at the end of the creation. So this sentence, you say from whom all are born and unto whom all go back, is incomplete sentence. So the next sloka will complete the sentence. We will come to that sloka after seeing the meaning of this part of the sentence. Okay. So Adi Shankara, in order to give the context for this sloka, he starts his bhashyam with Yat ekam daivatam prastutam tasya upalakshanam uchyate. The one devata which has been talked about in all the previous slokas. The attributes of that one devata, that one Lord, who was earlier established as Pavitranam Pavitram Yo Mangalanam Cha Mangalam, etc., and all that, the superior most entity in this entire universe, that is now being, that attribute, who that person is, who that entity is, what that principle is, that is now being explained in the next two slokas. That is the introduction Adi Shankara is giving. So Yatas Sarvani Bhutani, as I told you, he is the one from whom all elements and elementals have come into being. Because in our Shastra, we don't look at all the beings in terms of their names and forms. The Shastra takes that everything is born from 5 Panchabhutas. This entire cosmos exists. The foundation of this entire cosmos is Panchabhutas, Akasha, Vayuhu, then Apaha, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi. These are the 5 main bhutas or elements, you can call. Science talks about hundreds of, more than 100 elements, right? These are not those elements. These are the fundamental elements out of which this entire creation has happened. And then, in addition to that, Shastras also talk about elementals. What are elementals? Elementals are those when these elements combine with each other and create like a compound or a mixture or a compound, as we would call in scientific terms, and create a new entity that is called elementals. So according to the Shastra, the entire cosmos is made only of elements and elementals. So here, when we are saying it is not the individual beings, billions of people or billions of individual things being born. Where everything fundamental is elements and elementals. Either they are pure like Akasha and all, or they are a combination. Like, okay. So the from whom all these elements and elementals have been born, when Adi Yuga Game, here we should take Yuga as not the Yuga which we normally understand, like Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and all. Here Yuga means Kalpa. Kalpa means un Chatur Yuga. All the 4 yugas put together is one Kalpa. So we must take the meaning as at the beginning of the Kalpa. From whom? Because after the 4 yugas are there, there is Mahapralayam. And Mahapralayam, everything goes from manifest form to unmanifest form. And at the beginning of the next round of or next cycle of creation, that unmanifest form of this entire cosmos starts becoming manifest. That is what, in our understanding, in our Shastra, in our culture, creation is all about. So that is what Yuga Agame means at the beginning of Yuga Agame means at the beginning of the creation or beginning of the Kalpa, the Chatur Yuga. Yasmimcha Pralayam Yanti, unto which Pralayam means resolution, resolves into, unto which this entire prapancha, all these elements and elementals resolve unto. When Yuga Kshaye, at the end of the cycle of creation. That is, we are now in Kali Yuga. At the end of this Kali Yuga, probably about 4,27,000 odd thousand or 26 odd thousand years later, none of us will be alive. I mean, we may not, some of us might have become jnanis, so we would not have born. But even if we are born again, we will be having in some other body. But Kali Yuga right now, we are in the first quarter of Kali Yuga. Because even the yugas are also divided into quarters. So we are in the Pratama Padham of Kali Yuga, which is about 5,000 odd years. Right. So that is what we are now in. We have to now go another 4,26,000 odd years. The total age of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. So that is the age of Kali Yuga. So at the end of that 4,32,000 years, there will be a Mahapralayam. And what will happen in the Mahapralayam? Everything from manifest will become unmanifest and remain dormant in the unmanifest condition. Even our Sukshma Sharira, everything will be gone at that time. Karana Sharira will be retained. Because that you won't understand what I'm talking, because that's Tattva Bodha lessons. Anyhow, so again, Yuga Agame, that done, Yatas Sarvani Bhutani Bhavanti. So again, the same thing keeps on happening. Okay, so that is what he says. And for that, Adi Shankara is giving a quotation from Taittiriya Upanishad rather. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti tad vigyajasva tad brahmeti. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, the same creation process is discussed. And there it is said that how to understand this Brahman, what is this Brahman we talk about? It says that from whom all these beings are born. What is that? Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Same, yato va, yataha. This sloka also starts with yataha. In fact, this sloka is, paraphrasing what is said in Taittiriya Upanishad. Practically, rather, if you see, yato va imani bhutani jayante. Yena jatani jivanti. This portion is not there in this sloka. Yena jatani jivanti is by whom this entire creation is sustained. So from whom it is all born, by whom it is sustained, and yat prayanti abhisamvishanti, unto which everything resolves. Tad vigyajasva, may you understand that principle. Tad brahmeti, that is Brahman. So this is the definition of Brahman which is there in Taittiriya Upanishad. Brahman means what? We are talking about Satchidananda Swarupa Brahman, Nirguna Brahman. So that is exactly what this shloka is also saying, except that in between portion, by whom this entire universe is being sustained, that is missing in this shloka. But we have to supply that, because there is in creation, in this entire creation, there is a beginning, sustenance, and end, right? So all these things, from whom, by whom, unto whom this entire creation is born, sustained, and resolves, is that Devata, Eko Devam, that only Deva. So Adi Shankara, by quoting Taittiriya Upanishad, is saying that whatever I have talked in this last so many classes, the Bhashyam, when I say Eko Deva hai, I am meaning that Brahman. I am not meaning the Nama Rupa Devata, like a Vishnu, Shiva and all that. I am talking about the Swarupa of all the Devatas. That's what he says. Okay. In Bhagavad Gita also, we can see the same idea in the 8th chapter. Avyakta vyaktaya sarva hai prabhavantyah ragame ratriagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sanyake. This is Bhagavad Gita. So there, the creation and resolution, Bhagavan Krishna is relating to the day, rise of the day and the night, and the end of the night, rather. Okay. So what he says, avyakta hai sarva hai. All things that are manifest at the beginning of the day, means we have to understand at the beginning of the creation, arise from the unmanifest. Right? Then, so here the day refers to the beginning of the creation, and night refers to the end of the creation. Ratriya game praliyante. When the night comes, that is when the end of the creation comes, praliyante, they resolve unto tatraiva vyakta sanyake. Right? So from him alone, everything manifests at the beginning of the cycle, and again everything goes into unmanifest condition at the end of the cycle. So as we were discussing, Adi Shankara caught hold of that word eva. Ekam daivatam eva. So eva means that alone, only, right? So he says that now this is also is evidence or a source of knowledge, a pramanam, that devatam is only one, which is Brahman. Okay. And by saying eva, it negates all other possibilities. When you say it is alone and only one, means there is no second. Every other possibility is negated. And as I said, this shloka talks about the creation and dissolution, but we should include sustenance also in that. Okay. So they are all sustained by the Lord alone. And there is nothing that is away from him. The Lord pervades everything. Brahman pervades everything. Vishnu pervades everything. That's what we have to understand. Okay. So in the next shloka, now we will see. Tasya loka pradhanasya Jagannathasya bhupate Vishnor nama sahasram me Shrunu papa bhayapaham. Now, Bhishmacharya is telling Yudhishthira, listen to me, O Yudhishthira. Hey Bhupate, Lord of this entire world, because Yudhishthira has been crowned as Chakravarti after the war, right? Lord of this entire world. Bhupate, me shrunu, listen to me. Tasya loka pradhanasya jagannathasya Vishnor nama sahasram papa bhayabaham. This is how the sloka has to be rearranged. He Bhupate, me shrunu, O king, please listen to me. Tasya loka pradhanasya, that whom I have described as a loka pradhana, whom I have described as the Nata of this Jagat, Jagannatha hai. That entities or that Loka Pradhana or Jagannatha, his Vishnu Nama Sahasrakam, that Vishnu's Nama Sahasrakam, 1,000 names. For what? Papa bhayapaham. For the removal of two things, papas and bhaya. Apaham means to remove. Papa bhaya apaham. This is what how we have to understand the sloka. This is called anvaya. Whenever a sloka is there in a metric form, in meter, what we call in a verse form. Because the verses are arranged according to certain rules, but we have to understand it in prose form. So we have to convert the metric form into prose form, and this is how it is done. So, He Bhupate, O king, me shrunu, listen to me. Tasya, his, whose, that one Lord who has been described as Eko Devaha, of that one and only Lord. Loka Pradhanasya, the most important, the first and last of all the words. Pradhana means the most important or the primary. Pradhana, right? So of all the people in this entire world, who is the first one, the primary one, who is Pradhanam of that entity, who has been described as the highest in all the Shastras, as the supreme? Jagannathasya, who is the Lord of the universe. Nata means Lord. Jagannathasya. Vishnu Nama Sahasram, Sahasram, the 1,000 names of Vishnu, Papa Bhayapaham, for removal of all papas and fear. This is the simple meaning of this shloka. Now let us see how Adi Shankara explains this shloka. Okay. He starts by explaining the word Loka Pradhanasya. Lokam, he takes a meaning of Lokana. See, this is the beauty. Lokam in general meaning is the world. Lokaha we say, right? But Adi Shankara says here, Lokam means Lokana. Now, Lokanam itself has got two meanings. Lokanam means that which we can see or experience is Lokanam. And Lokanam also, he brings in the meaning of Vidyasthana. So the word in Sanskrit, words in Sanskrit are so beautifully, put together that you can derive different meanings from the same word. And all meanings will be correct. It depends upon what your vivaksha is, what your intention is in terms of defining it based upon the context. Okay. So if you take the simple meaning, Lokam means Lokanam. Lokanam means seeing. With respect to the Lord Ishvara, our physical eyes will not be of any use. Because we can't see the God, we can't see the Lord. Isn't it? So Adi Shankara is bringing that meaning of Vidyasthanam And he wants to emphasize that if you want to discover the Lord, if you want to experience that Lord, you have to use a set of eyes, not these physical eyes, but the eyes of the Shastra, eyes of the scriptures. Through those eyes only you will be able to discover the Lord. So Loka Pradhana, he takes the meaning as the one who can be discovered through the eyes of the Shastra. That is what he, lays the emphasis on. Because only Shastras or scriptures talk about Lord and everything, right? We can't get anything about Lord in a chemistry book or a maths book or a history book or an economics book. They don't talk about God or Lord or anything. Only our scriptures talk about. So if you have to understand that, we have to use the eyes of the scriptures or use the scriptures as our eyes to see that Lord, to discover that Lord, to understand that Lord. And that is what he is bringing. So that's why he says Vidyasthanam. This word Vidyasthanam, if you remember, we have seen in one of the earlier slokas. Vidyasthanam means all the sources of knowledge, all the scriptures, all scriptures put together is called all Shruti, Smriti, Purananam, Itihasa, everything put together is called Vidyasthanam. In fact, there are other Vidyasthanams also. In fact, if I remember, I told you about 18 Vidyasthanams. If you check your notes, you will know 18 Vidyasthanams I talked about. Now I will not talk about again. It will take a lot of time. Okay. So the Veda mantras say that the Lord cannot be seen with our physical eyes. We need the Jnana Chakshu, the intellectual eyes to see the Lord, to understand Ishvara, to discover Ishvara. And that can be done only with the help of the scriptures. Okay. And all scriptures, we have seen that this idea earlier, all scriptures talk about only one subject matter, which is Ishvara. We even saw this sloka, Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amananti. That was from Kathoparishad. We saw. Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amananti. So all Vedas talk about that absolute reality only, that Brahman alone. Because from where do we know? Previous slokas we saw that Brahman is the the Srishtikarta. It is from Brahman this whole creation has come. From where do we know that? By studying scientific books or Darwin's theory, or even understanding the theory of relativity, or even quantum physics today, we won't be able to understand from where this whole creation has come. They all talk about the Big Bang theory. But what is that? What created that Big Bang? Nobody is able to tell us. No science has not reached there at all till now. And what was this condition before that Big Bang also? They are very vague. They say singularity. That's all. Otherwise, they have not been able to come to this concept of Brahman and all that till now. It's a doubtful whether they will ever be able to do that, because the methods that they are using will not tell them. They are not using the Shastras for that, and Shastras is the only source from which you can know that. If you use all your eyes and all other methods, if you want to study medicine, you have to go to books which give you the knowledge of medicine. You can't pick up an economics book and say, I want to study medicine through this book. Can you do that? You can't do that. Similarly, if you want to know about the creation from where it has come, which is the authentic and the oldest available source of knowledge, it is scriptures, especially our scriptures, because the scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, they predate all other scriptures of every other religion. So you go to the original one and then find out from how this creation happened. Very simple. Instead of that, they spend millions of dollars doing all sorts of research here and there, and like a blind man in a forest, they keep on going round and round and round. So that is what is happening there. Anyhow, so all scriptures primarily talk about Ishvara only, and we saw actually another sloka also. Alodya sarva shastrani vicharyascha punah punah. When you actually examine all the shastras, all the scriptures, and punah punah vicharya, again and again you analyze them any number of times, what do you get? Idam ekam sunishpannam. There is only one conclusion you can come to. Deyo Narayana Sada. That all of them talk about this Narayana only. This Paramam Padam which we talked about. This Vishnu we talked about. That Narayana only is being talked about in all the scriptures. So this is another source, another sloka. And I think this is from Vishnu Purana, if I'm not wrong, or Garuda Purana. I don't exactly remember. So the most important topic of all Shastras is only Ishvara. And through that, reading the Shastra only, we can know about Ishvara. Okay. So here, Loka Pradhana, we must understand as Shastra Pradhana. The one who is the superior most talked about in all the Shastras, the one who is known through the Shastra Pramanam. Pramanam means a source of knowledge. So Shastra is the source of knowledge, has to be used to understand Ishvara. No other source can be used. So that is why we must have a Shraddha in Vedas and Shastras. If you don't have that Shraddha in the scriptures, I tell you, all these talks, all these lectures, you can go on listening, it will not make any sense. And especially when it comes to Advaita Vedanta, it further filters all the Dvaitis from this. People who are still in an intellectual level where they are seeing Dvaitam, difference between different entities in this Prapancha, unless they graduate to Advaita level, which graduation requires a very high degree of Chitta Shuddhi, unless they do all the sadhanas which will give them the Chitta Shuddhi, unless they practice Karma Yoga with the Karma Yoga and do everything that they do in their life with the Karma Yoga attitude, which will bring in the necessary Chitta Shuddhi, all this Advaita Vedanta business, Brahman and all that, Atma, will not make any sense to them. And that is why, everywhere, whenever Vedanta classes are held, and it is true here also, lot of people out of curiosity will join those classes. But over a period of time, Vedanta will filter out all the people who are not meant, who are not to be blessed with this knowledge. They will either automatically leave or some obstacles will be created for them to not continue. In fact, today morning only I was, today we have got 34 students. There were almost 56 students who were registered for Vishnu Sahasranamam classes. Of course, we can understand sometimes it may be, for some students, one class, two classes, they may be missing because something has come up and all that. But their interest, their commitment is not gone. But whereas the other people, some obstacle has come and they have left. And I am happy they have left. Because by continuing their name, they are continuing to get all these, been bombarded with every week, the Zoom link, then, the link of the video recording and all that, which, because they are not interested, they may just be deleting all those things. So in fact, I am going to write a message, send a message to everybody that if you are not interested in attending, either tell me, I will remove your name, or you yourself withdraw your name. So that if I have got 30 people, I know there are 30 people in the class. As a guru, I am also happy that all the people are there. I don't need to look who is there, who is not there. So what I'm trying to say is, through the Shastras, Shraddha in the Shastras only, all these things can be done. And Shraddha means what? You must have, consider Shastra as the Pramanam for all these things. That is what is Shraddha. Shraddha is not blind faith. Shraddha means that if I have to study medicine, I have to have Shraddha in the books of medicine, and studying them, I must have the faith that I will get the knowledge of medicine. Shraddha in an institution means if I attend a medical college, I have a faith that I will get the knowledge of becoming a doctor, how to become a doctor. Similarly, Shraddha in this Shastra means that I will, if I use the Shastras, if I want to see God, if I want to discover Ishvara, and I use the eyes of the Shastras, all these Vidyasthanas, if I use, then I have a Shraddha that I will be able to achieve that aim of my life. That is Shraddha. So we must understand that Shraddha, or that commitment in the Shastras and Vedas, should be there for us to come to this. And mind you, you see, coming to this itself, we have taken 24, 25 classes. Why? Because we went through what Adi Shankara wants to say. We wanted to understand from a point of view of Jagat Guru. We don't want to understand it the way Ganapathy is going to tell you all these things. We want to understand it from the point of view of somebody who is an authority on all the Shastras. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Who is the temple of all the Shruti Smriti and Puranas. From whom? What does he say about Vishnu Sahasranamam? That is what we wanted to understand. That is why we joined these classes, isn't it? So that is what that Shraddha should be there for us to study. And if you have that Shraddha, the Shastras will bless you. And Shastras have got their own way, because it is all coming from that Ishvara only. And Ishvara is a Sakshi, he is witnessing everything that is going on, every second, every nanosecond which is going on. Ishvara is a witness. And Ishvara can see into our own intentions, our own mind. What are we thinking? And if Ishvara finds out that you don't have Shraddha in the Shastras, you are attending these classes for some purpose, maybe somebody said attend the class or some entertainment purpose, then Ishvara will make sure that you don't continue to attend these classes. Because this is all the scriptures to us come from, Vedas have come from Ishvara himself. So he has got a vested interest to protect the knowledge that he has given to the world, isn't it? So that is what it is there. And the scriptures are also, what the scriptures say are logical. In fact, I would put it another way. What the scriptures say are not illogical. But we cannot accept, we cannot apply our logical thinking to everything that the scriptures say. We can arrive at the logic in a way by deduction. And we can, for that, lot of thinking and analytical ability is required. For example, let us take Punya and Papa. Scriptures say that all karmas attract Punya and Papa. And simply put, karma means an action. So an action, whatever we do, has got two types of results. One type of result is a drishta phala, what we can experience, what we can actually see, a result of an action that we do. Drishta phala. For example, suppose there is a poor man who is hungry, and we feel very compassionate towards him. And then we prepare food for him. Fresh food. This fellow is hungry, he has not probably eaten for 3-4 days. And we feed him. That fellow is so happy. Nobody bothered for him and he's so happy, he blesses you. May nobody in your entire family, in your next few generations, may go hungry. He will give you a blessing. So what happened? The Drishtaphala is what? You have fed him. It has removed his hunger. He is very happy, contented, and he has given you a blessing. This is Drishtaphala. Now the Shastra says when you do this action, there is a Adrishtaphala also. What is that Adrishtaphala? You get Punyam. There is a currency called Punyam which you earn. Can we see the Punyam? We cannot see the Punyam. Right? So what happens? That is Adrishtam. Adrishtam means which cannot be seen. Drishtam means which can be seen. Thus Punyam, Shastra says, it has been credited to your karma account. Now, what happens is that this Punyam is there, we can understand and we can realize only when we get certain experiences in our life, happy experiences, pleasant experiences, and then we relate that this Punyam is the cause for that experience. Otherwise, for example, in a family, there are, let us say, 2 or 3 children. All 3 children will be growing up in the same situation, same conditions, like parents are same, house, this condition, the house is same, everything will be same. But each child will grow up totally differently. Why? So there we say, oh, this must be because of the Punyam. Each individual Punyam Papam differs. This is told in the Shastras. And because of that, past Vasanas and the Punya and all that, there are certain Vasanas in this child, certain Vasanas in this child, certain other Vasanas in this child. So logically, this is the logic that we have to apply to understand why there are differences between individuals, why somebody is actually, leads a very, very happy and a very luxurious life. Suddenly something happens and loses everything and comes to the streets. Have we not seen such experiences? Have we not seen such people? Just, he was in the lap of luxury. Something happened, became a pauper, everything lost. In fact, a beggar. There are, not only in films, in real life, we have seen such people. Similarly, somebody who is in penury, whose family is, they don't have the food for the next time or for the next whatever it is, Like, for example, if they've had lunch, they don't have food for dinner. They have to go and find the food somewhere. Go and beg with somebody. Such people are there. They can't meet the 2 ends meet, rather. They don't have the resources. But after some time, something happens. They become rich people. They buy a bungalow and all that, car, everything is there. And at that time, they can't even imagine that these people were like that ever a few years ago. Why that happened? Who can explain what changed? So we have to come to the conclusion, the only place we can find explanation for all these things is the Shastra. Nowhere else we can find any explanation. The Shastra says, this is Punya effect, this is Papa effect. So that is how we come to know about Punya and Papa. And these are not illogical. They may not be 100% logical from the point of view of our reasoning power. Because for us, our reasoning is 1 + 1 has got to be 2. That is our logic. 1 + 1 cannot be 3. So our logic is limited because, again, one of the limitations of our human body, our intellect, is the thinking capacity of the intellect also is limited. So that is why Shastras are the only means to know about all these adrishtams. Okay. So this is what is he means by Loka Pradhanasya, Shastra Pradhanasya. So the person who has been talked in all the Shastras of that Eko Devata, who is he? He is Jagannathasya, Jagatam Natha, means he is the Lord of this Jagat, Lord of this entire universe. Normally in a family, who is the Lord? The head of the family is the Lord, because the creation of that family has come from the head of the family. He is the Lord, Natha of the family. That's why the word Anatha is there, a person who doesn't have any Lord. Lord has gone. So I become an Anatha. Right. So the Lord of the whole creation is that Jagannatha. Okay, is the ruler who runs this whole. Remember, Agnya, Payati, and Ishte. We have discussed that in good detail. Agnya, Payati, and Ishte. Right. So Jagannatha, he is the order. He is the law and order. What we call cosmic order is that Ishvara. Of that Ishvara. And here Shankaracharya adds one more meaning. Swami, he says. Swami also means one who rules. In fact, Swami means one who rules over oneself. Swami, right? We have seen that meaning also earlier. Swami. Shankaracharya brings that meaning here also. Okay. Then he says Maya Shabalaha. Maya Shabalaha means the one who has Maya under his control. Because Brahman, being Nirgunaha, he cannot create the world. He has to take the help of Maya, the Shakti, the power of creation, to create the world. And what is that Shakti? It is nothing but a combination with Brahman only. Brahman and Maya cannot be separated. When you talk of Brahman, you have to talk of Maya also. They are such a, inseparable couple, Brahman and Maya. Both are Adi and both are Ananta. Both Anadi, Ananta, both do not have any beginning, both do not have any end also, according to our scriptures. Okay. So Brahman has got this Maya under its control, right? And so he is Brahman. Whenever say he is Maya Sahita Brahman, we have to understand. And the Gita also says, Maya Adhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam, says Bhagavan Krishna. With me, Maya Adhyakshena, with me presiding, with my presiding presence. Adhyaksha means presiding presence here. The Prakriti is another name for Maya, creates this entire world of movables and immovables. Chara cha acharam, movables and immovables. This world is created, Bhagavan Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Then Adi Shankara gives one more meaning, Paramatma. If you have not understood all this, understand him as Paramatma. That Eko Deva is Paramatma. Parama Atma. Right? So now there will be a question. We, I think, saw that question in one of the earlier classes also. When we say Parama Atma, the Supreme Atma, does that mean that there are so many Atmas and there is one Supreme Atma? I think so. I think somebody raised that question in some classes ago. I told that, maybe I don't remember whether I gave the answer. I said that we will cover it when the context comes rather. Okay. So the answer to that is to be found in the Upanishads. When we say Paramatma, what does it mean? If there are so many Atmas and he is Paramatma, then where is Advaitam? If Paramatma is only one, then why you are calling him Paramatma? Just say Atma, you know. Why most superior? The word superior itself, Parama itself, means that you are doing a comparison. You are bringing in the comparative degree. superior. That's, good, better, best, like that we say, So the question will come, what are you talking Dvaitam or are you talking Advaitam? Very relevant question. Many people have got this confusion. So Upanishads contain the answer for this. And that is why Adi Shankara, in order to explain this from the point of Upanishads, he highlights the role of Maya. And he says this entire Maya is actually a mithya. Mithya means it appears, but it doesn't exist. The existence of this Maya is purely dependent upon the Atma only. So Maya has got a dependent existence, not an independent existence. The absolute reality is only one. So that is how Shankara's philosophical explanation goes from the Upanishads, not his own explanation, his interpretation of what he has studied in the Upanishads. Okay. So what the Upanishad says, they say that Atma or Brahman is the only one which is non-dual. And that Brahman alone obtains as the Atma in every individual being in this entire universe, which is what is called consciousness. That Brahman is Chit. Satchidananda we say, but it always highlights the Chit aspect, consciousness aspect. Okay. And that consciousness is the innermost reality of every being in the universe. And that's the absolute reality also. However, from an empirical standpoint, from a point of view of Vyavahara, we say that the consciousness obtaining in the individual is only a reflection of the original consciousness. So whenever we are actually referring to the word Atma or Jivatma, what it means that it is not that Paramatma, it is the reflection of that Paramatma in the medium which is there in our body-mind complex. And because of that reflection, we also have the same qualities of that Paramatma. This is how the Upanishads explained rather. So the words Jivatma, Paramatma and all these words are used in the context of empirical experience, not from the point of view of the absolute reality. Absolute reality is one. And for that, a very good example which is given is the sun is one. And you imagine there are a lot of small pots containing water, small pot, big pot. So many pots are there. There are wells, there are, what you call Kupa Tataka, this lakes, all are there. Different bodies of water, different sizes, right from a small pot to a big lake. We can see the reflection of that sun in all these things, right? Because water is a reflecting medium. We can see the reflection of the sun. Can we then say that there are so many suns? As many suns as there are water bodies? Obviously, we cannot say that because we know that sun is only one. Pratyaksham, we can see it, physically, sun is only one. But we cannot say there are so many suns. But each one of them will shine as brightly as the sun is shining. All the qualities of that sun will be there, like light, reflecting the light will be there. In fact, better example than water will be, mirror, broken mirror pieces all over the place, different sizes. All those mirror pieces will be reflecting the same light of the sun. In fact, if there is a dark room and you want to bring a sunlight into that room and there are no windows, there is only one door, small door, and you want to bring sunlight into that room, what will you do? You will take a piece of a mirror hold it in such an angle that the sun is getting reflected in that mirror and the light gets reflected in the room, isn't it? That is exactly what happens when we talk about Jivatma. Now can we say their sun is one, another sun is there in my hand in the mirror, and that is the light which is coming from here. The light which comes into the room is the same light which has come into the mirror from the sun. There is no difference between the sunlight, the light emitted by the sun, and the light which is found inside the room. And that is how we have to understand this Jivatma Paramatma business. The differences in so many Atmas are not there. Even though they appear to be different Atmas, Atma or Brahman is only one. Paramatma is only one. So the word Paramatma is used in the context or in the sense of the one source, one main source for all other Atmas, which we say is there in this entire universe. Okay. So that is what we have to understand. Normally, these things are not told in the initial stages of this spiritual journey, the Vedanta journey, where people will not understand. But then here the context is there, so that's why I try to explain it. I don't know how much you have understood it, doesn't matter. Okay. So there is only one Paramatma. We must not think that there are so many Paramatmas. Okay. Or there are so many Atmas and there one Paramatma is there amongst them. It's not like that. So Paramatma here means that the pure consciousness, the supreme consciousness, Satchidananda Swarupa Brahman. Then Adi Shankara, given his own style, adds one more word, Nirlepaha. Nirlepaha means what? Nirlepaha. Lepanam means to stick. Nirlepaha means that which doesn't stick to anything. Okay. One who does not stick. So even though he is with Maya, Maya doesn't stick to him. He is independent. Isn't it? And in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna talks about this exactly point, his relationship of Bhagavan with Maya. He says, Ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swamadishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. So what is saying that Ajo api, even though Ajaha, not born, even though not born, even though being one who is unborn, one who has no change or destruction, and also being the Lord of all these beings, Bhutanam Ishwaropi San, being the Lord of all these beings in this entire universe, Prakritim Swamadishtaya, using the power of Atma, which is my own power, power of Maya, Prakriti is Maya, as though, we will say, as though using the power of Maya, I come into being by my own creative power. So if at all we want to talk about power of Brahman, we can talk about a creative power, and that creative power is not a part of Brahman. It is associated with Brahman, but doesn't stick to Brahman. And that is power is Maya, Maya's power. Then he says, Na karmani, namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha. Actions do not affect me. There is no longing with reference to the result of action for me. So all actions, everything that we do is happening within the Maya domain. At the Brahman domain, all that is happening is Brahman blesses all these actions. But these actions happen in the Maya domain. And this Maya doesn't stick to Brahman. It is not a part of Brahman. It is not a product of Brahman. It is also not an attribute of Brahman, a property of Brahman. Brahman is nirlepaha. Okay. That's what it's saying. So nothing sticks to Brahman. He is unattached, untainted. Nothing affects Brahman also. neither karma nor karma phala. He is a nitya asamsari. So there is no tension. He goes with the help of Maya. He goes on creating, new creations. He brings coronavirus and all. He creates with the help of Maya. New things which we have not seen earlier, all coming. Different mutations, variants of coronavirus also he keeps on creating with the help of Maya. For what purpose? For all of us to exhaust our punya papa. That's all. That is what is happening actually. If you look at it from a point of view of scriptures, all that is happening, whatever we experience in our life is a result of our individual punya papa. That's all it is. Okay. So nirlepaha, he says. Okay. And we also have got a brand, isn't it? Nirlap brand. Have you all used that Nirlap? Non-stick cookware. Nirlap. This is from where they got that brand name Nirlap. Nirlepaha. Okay. So that is what is the meaning of this word Jagannathasya. He has explained. So we will see more in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. If there are any questions.
Hari Om. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raghuji, I need a favor from you, Raghuji.
Thank you, Guruji. Dhanyawad.
Guruji, Happy New
need a
Year,
small
Happy Vishu
favor.
and Happy Ugadi.
Happy
Thank you.
Vishu, Happy Tamil New Year to all of you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram
Thank
to you,
Our
Guruji.
next year will be the next Tamil New Year. That is true. Yeah. Somebody wanted a favor.
Raghuji, the
Namaskaram,
favor
Mama.
I'm
Thank
asking
you.
you
Sorry?
is, Ma'am, the prayer shloka that you say, that is Sachidananda Rupam in Vishnu Sahasranamam.
Yeah.
I know you had sent it.
Yeah.
Somehow it disappeared among all the mantras. I have not taken copy.
I will send it again. I will
possible? Recirculate and then I'll copy it. Because I want to learn it. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'll
beautiful.
copy it. I didn't copy it.
No problem. I'll send
Okay.
it. What is there? It's a small thing.
Okay.
I will
So that
find-
everybody can.
It should be there. It should be there in my WhatsApp. I will forward it once again to the entire group. So
Yeah,
those who want to
because
learn
I
it-
was trying to see it, because after it was hidden in all the messages, it was earlier
yeah.
instant.
Those
I know,
messages.
remember, I do. That's what
I'll find out.
That's what I requested you as a
Otherwise,
favor.
I have
Okay.
got
If it's
a
not too
copy
inconvenient.
also. I can upload it again. It's not a problem. No issue.
Okay. Is it from the Bhashyam that you are taking, or do you take it from?
This is before starting the Bhashyam. These are the prayer slokas Shankaracharya is offering.
Okay. Is this found in the Bhashyam that you are teaching from that
Yes.
Bhashyam book? Is
Yeah,
it?
book,
Okay.
that is there,
Okay.
right in the beginning.
Okay.
It is there. The Bhashyam book.
Okay. All right.
Starts with this.
That
prayer.
helps. Okay. Thank you so much. It was very nice. Okay. I
Hari.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari
Any other questions, or we can close?
Can I just have a small clarification, Guruji?
Yeah.
Maybe I misheard it. Maya and Brahman are inseparable, and they operate together. Brahman operates through Maya for the creation and all that. But then did I hear at some point that Maya is not a product of Brahman?
Yes.
But if
Maya
Maya
is not
Maya is not produced by Brahman, then who
Maya
will
is
produce
not
Maya?
a product of Brahman, but Maya's existence is dependent on Brahman.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay.
Maya will not, without Brahman, there is no Maya.
Yeah.
But Brahman doesn't require Maya. Brahman requires Maya not for his existence, but for creation.
But first, yeah. Okay.
That's it.
And yes, Guruji, thank you. And I just had one more small doubt. Shastras are the pramanam and for the ultimate wisdom and knowledge and moksha. But if someone not having access to this scriptures or this knowledge. So does that mean they will not? What is the moksha dwar for them?
See, this happens. All these things happen in a very, very pre-planned way. If you are very near, according to your karma account, if you are in a stage where you now needs to pursue the shastric study for you to go towards moksha, because this moksha pursuit also is not a one janma business.
No.
It happens over a period of few births. So in some birth you would have made a start. If today, if you have got an opportunity to go to a guru and learn some of the shastras, it is because that opportunity has come to you because of a certain punya which is there in your account, which you have earned in your previous births.
So everything is karma dependent.
Everything is karma driven.
Karma driven.
And the beauty is, after you say everything is karma driven, when you understand what this whole thing about, you say the whole karma is mithya. There is nothing called karma. So it is just like, I keep on giving the example of algebraic equations. We will always, there will be an X factor in every algebra. Find out the X, correct? Then we will assume X to be some 100, or let X be this or X be that, like that. Then we will do the whole equation and find the answer, and we will remove the effect of X. Similarly, everything driven by karma, when we get that jnanam, we become jnani, we realize that I am actually aham brahmasmi, I am nirlepaha. These karmas which are all doings of Maya could never ever have affected me at all. I was an ignorant person taking all this karma being real and then, saying everything karma, karma, karma. But at our stage, we cannot say that. Only when we reach that stage of a jnani, when we actually get that knowledge and then abide in that knowledge, from that standpoint, we can say these things. From our standpoint, at this point in time, we are all driven by karmas, because karmas is what make these things happen rather. After getting all jnanam and all that, you can say whatever you want to say. It's not the scriptures themselves say it. I mean, it's not that we are saying it. Adi Shankara says that only, when you have come to Jnana Marga, when you have come to Vedanta, he says, stop all your karmas. Focus only on Jnanam. Because karmas take away so much time. And in fact, the karmas that we are performing today, the shastric karmas, is less than 1% of what the karmas are prescribed in the shastras. Can you imagine? That is what a normal thing we are doing. Now, if you have to do all the karmas, prescribed karmas in the shastras, you will have no time for Vedanta, for Upanishad study and Bhagavad Gita study, or study of all these bhashyam and all that. So Shankara says that but we can't leave the karma that easily, because we have acquired those karmas through a process. So we have to go through reverse that process and leave that karma. That is why sannyasa ashrama is prescribed. In sannyasa ashrama, you can formally get rid of all the karma duties and everything, including your family duties, your shastric duties, everything you can get rid of. Only there are very few duties prescribed in the sannyasa ashrama, which is what you will have to follow. And you devote your entire time to study of scriptures, understanding at the feet of a guru. So that is why Adi Shankara keeps on saying, in so many bhashyams, that if you want to study Vedanta, Moksha Marga, Sannyasa, you must take. But practically for all of us, that is not possible. The maximum we can do is, even within our own family, when we have actually discharged all our responsibilities, when we have discharged our duties, we can mentally become sannyasis. That's all we can do. We need not wear that robe and all that. We can mentally, sannyasi means what? Getting detached from all these, what were liabilities of a samsari. Once your children have grown up, that's it. They are on their own. You have nothing more to contribute to their life. Unless they come to you for advice. And advice you can give it to them as a guru, not as a father or mother. As a guru, you can give advice. That advice you would give to any child which comes to you for an advice. Otherwise, don't interfere in your children's life. Similar thing is with your spouse. After you have actually discharged all the responsibilities towards yourself, detach yourself from that spouse, husband-wife relationship. Stay together. Nothing is wrong staying together. But you need not have an husband and wife relationship which has throughout the life been characterized by constant fight. You trying to change me, I trying to change you. Stop that. The moment you stop that changing business, interchange, that I want you to become like me and the other person thinks he wants this person to become like that. When you moment you stop that, that is one more step towards sannyasa. You are not interfering. You are giving everybody in the family their own space. Let them do whatever they want to do. You don't try to dictate them. In 35, 40, 50 years, if you are not able to change a person, do you think that in the remaining 10 or 15 years of your life, you are going to change that person? Why go and bother about that? Spend the time of fighting in studying the Shastras. So this is at a mental level, one can easily become a sannyasa if one has got the necessary commitment, conviction towards it. That I want to study the Shastra. I want to, because Vedanta is a pursuit of leisure. Moksha is a leisure pursuit. Understand that. You must have a lot of leisure, both in times of physical leisure and mental leisure. You must not allow any mental disturbance to enter. If that happens, you cannot concentrate. You cannot focus on the study. You will not understand anything. This requires a fine intellectual capacity, Vedanta. And the whole Vishnu Sahasranamam, even though starting it appears Vishnu Sahasranamam is we are doing puja and all that, the whole thing is philosophy, Advaita philosophy, as Shankaracharya is propounding now. So these are all the requisites that we need to understand, that we can become a sannyasa, but I will not advise that becoming sannyasa when you have just got married, right? But if you understand the principles, you can understand one thing, you can lead a very happy married life if you only one thing you do, each spouse stops trying to change the other spouse. Because all unhappiness in the marriage arises from this one big problem. I have understood this after 35, 37 years of my marriage. When you try to change, all conflicts come up. Don't try to change, because, and honestly speaking, this is not my word. This is Pujya Swamiji's words. Pujya Swamiji told that for a long time, he was under the impression that he can change people. Then he realized how foolish he was. That nobody can change anybody. If any change occurs in anybody, it has to come from within own self. If I feel I want to change, I can change. If you tell me to change, I will not change. In fact, the resistance will increase. Who is this fellow to tell me to change? I will do what I want. This is the ego problem. So if you want to lead a very happy life after marriage also, don't try to change. Children, you must advise them. Ultimately, children will grow up according to their past vasanas, according to their karmas. All that you can do is you can actually supplement that with certain direction towards their growth and their growth stage. When the child becomes 13, 14 years or something like that, stop doing that also. Become a friend of the child. Don't try to change the child, because the child has already got into a mold based upon all this karma and everything. You can't do anything. When you try to do that, conflict, fight between child and parents. And at that age, the child is so bold, it can even go away from the house rather. So if we understand practically all these aspects of our life, why conflicts come in our life, why we become unhappy and all that, it is all to do with this lepaha business, attachment business, sticking to each other.
Yeah.
That is what happens. So slowly, when we progress, we must graduate from one understanding to another understanding, from one level of relationship to another level of relationship. That's why in my Tattva Bodha class, I told people that one of the reasons that we have unhappiness in our life is because we have got two types of relationships. If you analyze all our relationship, one is special relationship and one is general relationship. General relationship is a relationship which we have with everybody in our colony, with every, our friends and things like that and all that. So many acquaintances and all, we have general relationship. Whatever happens to them may affect us a little bit, but we will not be, mentally disturbed, or we will not be, in a sorrow state or a miserable state because of what happens to them. Whereas special relationships, where we have this mamakara, the relationship which we consider as mine, my wife, my father, my mother, my children, my brother. This my business, when it comes to special relationship, these relationships is what gives us all miseries in our life. So the way to convert all your miseries into happiness, or in fact, miseries into a very, what I would call it, a neutral status, is to convert all special relationships into general relationships. One by one, you start with that, then you will find that whatever they are doing is not affecting you. Till yesterday, oh, my sister, she talked about me like this. How can she talk? She is my sister. The next day, you have converted that into general relationship. Oh, sister has talked, let her talk. What is there? It's not going to affect me. Right? So many people talk so many things about me. One more person talking. That's all. How does it matter? I have now disconnected from my sister to a person who is general acquaintance, known to me, has the freedom to talk anything about me. Fine. In one stroke, I have converted all my misery and sorrow and my ego problem into a neutral situation. I am not affected by that. The last person you should do is your spouse. Don't start with your spouse. That will be disastrous. It will create more problems than anything else. So start from the outer layer. Then one by one, which is easier, what they call it, in management terms, low-hanging fruits. So all these distant relationships who give you now and then some problem and all, make them general relationships. Last one, even children, when they have grown up, convert their relationship into general relationship. Easy for children to do with children. Daughter has got married, has got own family. What more I have to contribute with that? She has to lead her own life. Her children, she has to bring up her children. And the way she will bring up her children will depend upon how I have brought her up, or my as parents, me and my wife have brought her up. If we have actually brought her up in a different way, I cannot expect my daughter to bring up her children in a totally different way. It cannot be expected. What training she has got, she will use that training. So then after that, I have nothing to contribute. Convert that relationship into general relationship immediately. General relationship does not mean that you must be avoiding them and all. Be pleasant to them. Like any friend comes, we talk to them, we enjoy everything, fine. But don't that nirlepaha business do. Don't have that stickiness with that relationship. Anyhow, we can go on talking about this.
Thank you very much.
But we will
love the beautiful advice.
Okay.
Beautiful advice. Beautiful practical advice.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you.